Alright, hey there, my name is Mark. Welcome back to the channel. And in this week's episode, I'm going to be working on Little by Little. It's amazing that 50 years later, Okay, so picking up where I left off in the last episode where I put in those electronic window regulators, I'm going to keep in that same spirit of trying to get the interior of the cab finished up. That's what I'm going to work on today. So I need to get some more Noiko sound deadening mat put in there. I'm going to have to modify the interior panels for the larger big hole opening. And then I'm going to have to try and squeeze in the rubber boot that goes between the cab and the sleeper. And this is actually it here. And as you can see, there's two profiles that need to be pressed into the recesses in the ring all the way around. So I'm gonna get some soapy water and try and be as zen as possible and try and get that in. I hear these can be a bit of a bear, so I'm gonna see how hard that's gonna be today. So with that, yeah, I'll just get started. And I also wanted to highlight that my buddies Peg and Dallas were always teasing me. They're like, why don't you have a Leatherman? Why don't you have a Leatherman? They won't leave home without theirs. It's always on their belt. So the last time I was at Bass Pro Shops, I went and picked up a new Leatherman sheath, and I got myself one of the Leatherman Wave Pluses. There's so many different kinds of ones you can get there. I mean, they have a lot of different tools. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife, but it's got the pliers, and it's very functional. I think once I started having it on my hip, it'll be something that I'm going to be addicted to like them, and I'll always have it with me. So went and picked that up, and if you want to get one of yours, just head over to your local Bass Pro Shop or Cabelas. All right, so I was just in the cab here trying to figure out where I was going to start, and I realized that I needed to kick things off this week with a little bit of rework. So I had forgotten that when I was in here, I think I was grinding out some hucks or something when I put in the new cab corners, and I ended up nicking this patch of wires that actually goes underneath out of the cab and then back up into the bunk that controls things like the HVAC and lights and stuff like that. So this is a fire waiting to happen. So I've actually got to try and repair all of this. And yeah, what's the best kind of work? Rework. But we'll try out this Leatherman here, and at least they're all color coded, so I should be able to match them all up and patch this mess. I'm sure my electrician friend Kevin is just cringing watching this segment. But that's okay, it'll be all right. All right, what's next? So I was doing a little thinking here, and I was trying to figure out what needs to go first, because everything always needs to go in a bit of an order so you don't box yourself into a corner. And what I realized was, looking at this interior boot, I didn't like the idea of having it mount, so having the panel screwed in and then having the wrap go on the outside, because then I'll have additional screws and snap covers, and it just doesn't look as clean. I discovered that when I did Snowman, that it's better to put your sleeper interior boot inside and underneath. It's a much cleaner installation, I think, having the panel come right to the edge like that, and then just having this kind of hidden, having the ends hidden underneath. So in order to do that, put the interior boot on, I've got to get this rubber boot put in there. Now, as I was saying, these profiles here just fit into these slots in the ring. So this was the big hole kit that I got from Truck Shows last year, and the kit actually comes with the cab ring, the sleeper ring, and then this rubber boot. So I don't know how I'm actually going to push this in. So I got some soapy water here, and I guess I'm just going to give it a try. I couldn't find any instructions out on the internet there, And I think it's just a matter of fumbling with it until it's snapped in all the way around. Okay, I think I found the secret sauce for this. A rubber hammer, lots of soapy water, and basically just hit the bugger in there. That's not bad at all. Now you don't have to worry about extra water down in the groove there, because there's drain holes. So if rainwater ever gets in there, it drains out. If you remember, there's holes. There's one there on the back side of the ring, so water can drain out. Good. I was worried that this was going to be trouble. Easy peasy. Yeah, I was expecting this to be way worse. This isn't bad at all. And it's very satisfying because once it pops in there, the hammer will make a different sound. I mean, obviously you can see that it's flat, but it'll make more of a thud. A little lubricant goes a long way. Because if it's dry, it'll just bounce right back out again. Uh-oh, looks like there's some excess here. I wonder how you eat that up. Perfect fit. Tight as a duck's ass. Awesome. Okay, so now that that's in there, well, hang on. I guess before I start going down the road and putting that interior boot on, I still need to put some Noiko in the cab corners here. So you guys have seen me use this stuff before. So this is just Noiko sound deadening mat. You can get it on Amazon or at Noiko USA. It's good stuff. I've used it in all my trucks so far, and I'm going to use it in the Trans Am and the Iron Duke as well. But basically what it's doing is it's a sound deadening mat that once you cut to the right size, put in there and squish all the little diamonds, it helps to deaden the sound, vibration sound, road noise, that type of thing. And then I also like to put a little bit of Noiko foam insulation. It doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, but every little bit helps, right? To try and keep it warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer. Okay, one side down, now I just need to do the other, and then I can put the cab corners in. All right, so it's just trying to figure out what I'm going to do with these interior panels. Now a smart man would have actually converted this truck to a big ring opening before he did the first attempt at a restoration, but as Tom Hanks says,
I'm not a smart man.
So what I need to do is cut the panel back. So obviously the big ring is wider, and if you go back a couple episodes, you see where I cut back these panels here, which is not that big of a deal. You just got to mark it out. But this is how it was in here before. I don't know if this is going to work because I need a flat face. So I need another bend here in order to screw into the ring all the way down. I wonder if I flip it the other way. Chuck that in. Yeah, that might work. Because now it's made that bend, and now I can put screws in all the way down, and to hold it in there, I could screw it in along here. Now I've taken a couple of buttons out, and I had snap buttons over screws. Must have been where it was screwed into the supports on the previous installation. But that's no big deal. I should be able to rig something up where I can put a button in there. Even just glue it in. Yeah. So I could just cut it along here and then fold the material around this edge. Yeah, I think that'll work good. Okay, so what I'll do is mark it out so I know where to cut the cardboard. Now, if you don't feel confident modifying your panels after doing a big hole conversion, then you could just mark them out and send them to the DayCab Company, and they'll cut them back for you. But I'm going to show you here. It's not that hard to get it done yourself. And I do have a new tool this time that I'm going to try out that I think is going to help. How these buttons work. So essentially, I don't know if you can see that there, but the button has a bunch of teeth in the back of it, and then this nail has the little teeth on that, and you just push it through. And then you just take that and put it over top of the nail and give it a push. Maybe set it on the table. There. Perfect. Okay, so next up, just so I can make sure all of those are tight. Okay, so next up, now that I've cut along the line where it was marked out where the outer edge of the ring would be, now I'm able to, yeah, this thing comes in handy, no denying. Now I should be able to just fold this over. So when you're cutting this, you want to be real careful you don't cut through the material, because you obviously want more material to wrap around the edge, right? So if you cut down through the material, you'd see a slash mark in there. So that's why I was kind of going slow and cutting the cardboard just through. And then you got to be real careful when you're cutting out the foam, because again, you don't want to cut through the vinyl. And then in the corners, you just cut a bunch of fingers, but take your time with the fingers and make sure that they line up with the edge. If you cut too deep there, then you're going to see your cut there as well. So just kind of do a little bit at a time, and then bend the finger up, press it over the cardboard, and it should be right about exactly where the cardboard meets the vinyl. Then you won't see that cut in there. But what those fingers allow you to do is kind of stretch out the material and go around the corner. Okay, so in the last video when I did the interior panels for the sleeper, someone suggested, so I was fumbling with my old nail gun, and someone suggested going to get a pneumatic nailer or stapler. So I ordered one off Amazon, and we're gonna see how this thing works. You don't need instructions. Probably need those though. Now I can be like Griswold putting up Christmas lights. Okay, So the last piece here is a little bit of spray adhesive. And just start at one end. You want to get it really tight as you can, and hopefully don't staple your finger. Oh, that is awesome! Worth every penny. Okay. And again, you want to take the time and stretch it out, because that way the edge will look a lot nicer. Mint. And there you go. One modified upholstery panel. Okay, so this will be that end that I was talking about that should be able, I can put screws in all the way along. Now I don't know how that's gonna work. Oh yeah, that'll bend because that bends with the ring. And then it'll just keep going like that. Okay, let's see how it looks in place. Yeah, that should work. Oh, and that might fit as well. Beauty, Clark. Oh, right on. Okay, so now what I need to do, I think I should probably put in, well, one thing at a time, Mark. I'll do the other side in the exact same fashion, just cut that out. And then, stay in there. And then what I'll do is I'll get the new interior boot in place. So the DayCab Company made me a new interior boot here that I showed earlier. And again, I like the idea of having it in behind. So I think I'm going to screw this into nice and tight into this ring, and then this guy will sit, well, both these panels will sit over top panel. I just think that looks so much nicer, because I had it before where it was outside and then these snaps were showing and this flap wasn't tight, and it's just, I think it's, like I say, a much cleaner look. Take the time to tuck this in behind and tack it in, and then put your interior panel over top of that. That looks a hell of a lot better. Cool. So now it's going to be installing the inner boot time. So the way this works is basically each side ends. So I just need to get it centered and just screw in both sides, and then just work my way down. And then wherever these land at the bottom, this cover piece over here just Velcros and goes over top of the rubber boot at the bottom there. So like I say, the DayCab Company made this up for me. They already knew the material type that I had on here, so they just basically used the dimensions of a 379 Unibuilt bunk with the larger opening and built me one of these. So if you do a big hole conversion, if you reach out to Truck Shrouds and you order the whole kit with the 2 rings, and you can rent their huck gun, you get all the rivets, and you get the rubber boot, all you really need to do is modify your panels, which, as I showed, isn't a whole heck of a lot of work. You're just going to cut those back and fold them back. So you don't need new panels for your bunk or your sleeper, but you will need a new boot, because the original boot's obviously going to be a lot smaller, a lot shorter. So just reach out to the DayCab Company, either take a picture of your material or maybe send them a panel, and they will try their best to copy it. They've got tons of different material or vinyls that we'd be able to match up and make you that larger boot. So with that, I guess I'll just start, I still got to unscrew this, and then I've got some self-tapping screws, and I'll just tack this in on both sides to the rings like so, nice and tight all the way around. And then I should be able to put the interior panels, like I say, over top of that and then screw those in. Like I always say, things need to go in order, and you can't get too far over your skis. So before I can take this inner boot and screw it in there, because it's a little puffier, it's not going to be a nice edge to mark out for the, because of course there's one panel that still needs to be cut. It's the ceiling panel. So I think I'm going to bring the cab ceiling panel in, prop it in place, and then at least mark it out. I can cut it later, but I need to get this line so I can peel back the material and it'll match. And then I can put this boot on. Oh man. There, that's looking pretty good. Now the corner is a little odd just because of this overlap. So to kind of go back, I've released the staples in behind there, and then it'll probably go something like that. See how it opens up and angles that way to follow that profile, and then I'll just screw it in something like that. And then that corner panel will come up and cover this edge. So it might need a little bit of playing with to get the ceiling panel in the cab in place, but man, that's gonna look good. Okay, so now that that's cut, I guess I can go back to trying to put in the sleeper outer boot, or not outer boot, I guess that would be the inner boot. Aboot. Yeah, that turned out pretty decent. I'm digging that. I think it's gonna look so sharp with the panel tucked up in front. Yeah, old TwinSticks gets better with practice. All right, so next up, I gotta put the, TwinSticks running out of steam. I gotta put this bottom section on here. And I'll probably screw it in as well, just so it's held in there. Okay. Old TwinStick's starting to get tired. And my knees have just taken an absolute kicking today. But it's pretty cool that the interior is finally coming back together. Now what I elected to do was to put the carpet over top of the inner and outer corners. I think that looked quite nice. Okay, take it. There it is. Now, okay, maybe one more, and I'm going to call it. Okay, it's enough for one day. Let's see how that looks. There, put one of these on there. So these are just camouflage buttons. I'll put a couple more. So those are the original holes when I had the boot over top. If you go back, way back, about 100 episodes or so, you'll see that. But it definitely looks better on the inside. I'm sure you'll agree. That is cool. All right, well, one step closer. Just a little bit closer to getting little by little back on the road. But it's going to be an amazing feeling. Hopefully I have this all finished out by the time the snow melts and I can just give her down the road. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you learned something. We'll see you in the next one. And don't ever forget, if you got it, truckers brought it.